Live from the Workplace Ninja Summit in Lucerne. Highlights, insights, and simply interesting talks. This is the Workplace Ninja Podcast.
And we're back on day 3 of the Workplace Ninja Summit 2024. Still a bit early, but we're running. I miss my co-host. I think it's too early for them.
Do you normally have a co-host?
Yeah, Harriet is normally here when we do Intune stuff.
He's varying levels of reliable. So he's not here this morning. I'm sure he'll be here later.
Yeah, I will be here later. But with the security sessions, I have Alex Benoit with me. I have Peter Dalmans also joined me a few times. But now I have 3 guests, so I think we can manage that. My name is Frans Oudendorp, and I have with me Mac Hall, a veteran for the Workplace Ninjas event.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been here. I've been here for all 3, online for 2. Yeah, so all of them, and every year it gets bigger and bigger and better. So it's incredible.
Yeah, you are happy to join the anniversary of the 5th birthday on the event on this as well.
Yeah, I mean, Mirko's surprises sort of caught me off guard, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's always awesome here.
What are you doing in the Intune team, Matt?
So I'm a PM architect that focuses on Intune security and Intune Suite, as well as core infrastructure and platform. Yeah,
last year we had a conversation on Intune Suite, so we will dive in a bit on that in the next few minutes.
Awesome.
Before that, Venkata, welcome.
Thank you.
Who are you, and what are you doing in the Intune team?
First off, this was great. Like, this is my first time here.
Yeah.
And looks like the debut was great because it's a 5-year anniversary and the surprises were fantastic. Like, I have not seen a keynote like that. Like, all the ninja dances blew me away.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
I was like, oh, this is how all the conferences gonna look like. Then I'm gonna sign me up for every year.
Yeah, and luckily I have you on the table because I had a conversation with Joost Gelijsteen. He's one of my friends in the Netherlands, and you work closely together with him on a few topics what we talk about later on. And he pushed me. You need Venka on the recording as well. So, what are you doing in the Intune team?
Yeah, I'm one of the engineering architects in the Intune team. I look over the core platforms. I think you've heard quite a bit from Jason, like enrollment, the hardening work you have seen in some of the sessions today. And we do check-ins. Outside of that, most recently, we worked on the inventory platform that was created, data platforms, a bunch of platforms that we have across.
But you're one of the architects for the Intune that we have nowadays that we are using at our customers. That's why you're basically one of the main responsible people for a co-perspective, from an architect perspective. You're there. Yeah. And Anton, welcome. You're here as well. What are you doing?
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, again, also thank you for this opportunity, and this is just incredible. It's been great so far. Of course, the view, gorgeous. Nothing can beat that. And just having lots of conversations is pretty incredible. As you know, as an engineers, this is something for us to learn. How customers are using the product. This is super useful for us. So really thanks to everybody for this opportunity.
Likewise, we love that you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. What am I doing? I'm engineering architect on the team, focused on completely different things, EPM apps, scripts, updates, and it's been great and very useful for us to hear any gaps in the product that we can then go and think how we can address, how we can architect better solutions.
Yeah, so we have 2 architects, and Matt, you're also in the team of the architects. What you are telling to me, you're responsible for Intune Suite.
Yeah, I mean,
bit?
more or less. The important thing to call out here is that I'm a PM architect and these guys are engineering architects. So I architect PowerPoint.
Yeah.
They architect code. That's the important difference here.
Which one is more important? What do you think? Creative solutions.
Yeah.
Right?
There's varying levels of importance here, but yeah. Okay.
And I think a lot of Microsoft folks are joining on the conferences these days. And I think there is a bit of difference between a PM architect and the engineering architect, but both are a group of people that are joining here and having conversation with customers. Isn't that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I speak for myself, and I think these two over here, like, we don't really focus on who does what where. It's like one big team, and you know, we all contribute to different efforts in different ways. So it's really awesome that we can all work together, and it's really great when, you know, Mirko and the whole team here allows us to bring a big group of us together, because we can really move very quickly when we hear feedback from customers, or when we get feedback in things like our great AMA yesterday. You know, things can go from a very small piece of feedback to an idea to in motion very quickly. So it's really great that we get to all come here, be together, and sort of collaborate with the community like this.
And last year we had a lot of conversations on Intune Suite, because Cloud PKI was coming out at that moment.
Yeah.
We had something with Cloud PKI and other stuff as well. What has been improved and what has been done in the last year since that we have that recording?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, I'm trying to remember, man, a year's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time,
yeah,
especially in delivering services.
Yeah, I think last year when we were here, we had just EPM, remote help, and advanced analytics in market, those three, as well as MAM tunnel, the MAM tunnel scenarios, what we call Intune P2. So Intune P2 is a pillar of all specialty, like sort of specialty device scenarios. So we had all of those. And then after Ninja, we launched EAM. We launched Enterprise App Management, and we launched Cloud PKI. And we continued to iterate on other features in the suite. And I think, you know, the big thing for us is the suite became product complete. And we're getting a lot of feedback from customers. We're getting a lot of feedback from people using the product. One thing that is really great is we've seen really good momentum adopting the product. You know, if you think back 18 months ago, it didn't really exist. And now it's out in the market. We're seeing usage, you know, month over month growth. I don't know if I can mention any specific numbers and stuff like that, but the key here is, like, we see tremendous momentum, and with momentum comes feedback, right? And we've gone from making the portfolio product complete to continuing to iterate on the features that enterprises and our businesses need to make sure it's feature complete and ready for every customer. So I think over the next 12 months or so, you're going to see us continue to make iterative changes to all the different products. And we're here to stay with Intune Suite, so it's exciting to keep moving on it and to keep building what our customers need.
And talking about Intune Suite, Anton, how Intune is run, is that more or less some features with the session that you've done? How Intune is run, is that about EPM, or is there some different topics in that in that session?
The session was actually great. Really, our goal was to make sure we talk not just about the features, but also how it works behind the scenes and how we actually deliver the product, deliver the services. Of course, it's besides the features, it's very important to talk about how all of the frameworks that we have in place, such as device check-in that Venkata touched on yesterday. It was important to talk about how we approach security and how we make sure that we have feature release readiness, that we have a safe rollout in place for the service. So super important to talk about that. And for us, we take this very seriously, and we wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of how we approach delivering service at such a scale as well. Because it's not an easy thing to do, but we do make sure that we have all the knobs in place before the feature goes to or a change goes to production.
Yeah, and talking about Intune Suite, EPM is one of the things within Intune Suite. I hear a lot of buzz on APM. I talked with some security guys over here, with Sami Lyo, for example, and some other people as well. And everyone is mentioning EPM and within the product that it's helping customers to secure their environment. Is that something you get also from customers? And is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. EPM has been getting a lot of traction, and really our main goal to get customer to standard user, and we're hoping EPM helps. We've seen a lot of customers be able to move to standard user, so that's great to see. As we're talking in the conference as well, we're seeing that signal. So that means the product is helping get to the goal, get to the more secure environment. We have heard lots of good feedback on what we can improve, so that's great. We'll take it back and integrate it.
Yeah. Talking about the conference, 5-year anniversary. You're both first timers. What especially do you like on an event like this? Venkata, maybe.
Yeah, it's primarily feedback, right? Like one of the key, like I'll give you an example. We were in the AMA yesterday. There was a question related to, hey, can we assign more than one filter on the payload, right? Now, from a design perspective, it was always possible, right? Like we had a different mindset to make it simpler for an admin, to keep it simple on how the assignments looks like. But once you come here, once you hear the feedback, once you understand their perspective, it was very clear. So just after yesterday, we contacted back our targeting folks. It could be a feature, right? No, I'm not promising anything.
No.
But the theme of this is we get this feedback loop that gets created in this community conferences that we can go take back, and some of it could be a small items that we could go deliver. Some of it could be big items like inventory. That we're going to show this today was really a byproduct with feedbacks loops from such conferences, right? So it's always exciting.
Yeah, Matt. If we look at this a physical conference, we are in a lot of virtual communities as well within, so we can interact with each other a lot of times. But how important is it to be here physical?
I think it's super important. I mean, as somebody who works from home 95% of the time, I'm very comfortable with the virtual environment. But like Venkata was sort of mentioning, especially when you're getting feedback from people who use your product, your customers, and you can put 20 people that work at Microsoft all in the same place, we can take that feedback and just literally go, hey, we should do this. And then when you get, when you have the VP of engineering on the floor with you, you can just say, hey, you think we should do this? And things just move very quickly. So, I mean, it's not that we couldn't get it done otherwise. It's just the benefit is removing all of that friction of being apart. And it's great because, the systems management community is much like a dysfunctional family. Everybody sort of has the same problems. I come from the community, like before I started working at Microsoft. So it's great to just be around everybody that has the same problems as you and people who can help and fix. And especially when you start looking at some of the MVP and community solutions that are out there, I mean, it's as much about us at Microsoft building stuff and delivering stuff as it is coming and talking to, somebody that builds your favorite community solution. I'm not going to name any because I'll leave somebody out, but builds your favorite community solution that maybe wants the same feedback loop. So conferences like this are really a good hub for everybody to get together. You get to meet these people who build the things you depend on or help you build the things you depend on. And there's no better way to do that in person. Maybe over a couple pints or so.
Yeah, what I see, and I think you can totally agree with that probably, but it's about the sessions, but it's even more what we did last evening, having a small glass of beer, for example, and then other conversations are coming onto the table.
100%. Like even the physical aspect of it, say I'm an introvert, like you will hardly, it's a big deal to push myself to go and talk to it. And the reason we get motivated to talk to it is the feedback loop. But at the same time, I've observed there were equal amount of questions that actually came with this in-person interactions in the events that has happened. Like even yesterday, we talked quite a bit on hardening and a bunch of other stuff. When how is that working on Windows? How is it going to come for Mac and other platforms, right? These conversations are pretty enlightening, and I do think that the physical presence might help, and the events that you all are organizing is fantastic to kind of have ease into these conversations with a drink in your hand. So
but that was also what I got back from other speakers, from attendees as well. So if you are in the mood or have the opportunity to attend an event, you definitely need to do that, in my opinion. to move a bit forward, I saw last week a blog post coming in on the Learn pages, and one of the last paragraphs that was said that takes my attention, because on that was, at the Workplace Ninja Summit in Lucerne, we will do a demo on it, and I think that will be this day. There's a session this day and on device query and device inventory, Venkata. What about that? Is that there's a new feature?
Yes. So again, this was a byproduct from one of the feedback loops. I mean, we often knew inventory as a core piece of the puzzle. Like, it's a foundational piece to understand how your devices are doing, how your assets are doing, what's on your machine, right? And you could use for scenarios like troubleshooting, you can use for scenarios like reporting, right? This has been a common feedback. So last year, we went back from one of the conferences, kind of sat through, I think Sangi, one of our directors, and in fact, we were doing all the scribbling in the conference to see how we can bring this to, fruition. But yeah, I'm proud to say, the whole team came along, and we kind of built this foundational base of an inventory platform where you can define various entities, which could be how your updates are doing, what's on your machine, what kind of hardware is on your machine. That kind of goes and flows through our system, and we have built features like Resource Explorer where you can go and query this stuff, right? Yes, I'm fairly excited on this one to kind of show that piece. And again, we are collaborating with MVPs, obviously, who, like Rudy, probably blog posted a few of this already. So Lear wanted to get ahead. But yes, we're fairly excited to show it and get even more feedback. Right, that's really what we are looking for today. Is we have built a platform to add more, but we want to hear from the folks what are the entities that you would want to look in the inventory platform? What else you want to query on? How do you extend any of the features? One of the common feedback that actually happened in last year's Ninja was data freshness. So I know we couldn't fix in every piece of the product, but for inventory, we did that from day zero, right? So pretty excited. I can't contain my excitement here, but I'm really looking forward to the feedback that kind of comes out of it.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we are the first one where we can see it in real life. And if you're watching this video later on, I will post the link to the blog post in the description as well. So you can, if you want to look into device query and device inventory, please look into the blog post that is written by the guys from Microsoft. I'm not able to attend, but I love the demo, and probably that will be online, not after today, but when it's there, you guys will have.
I'm pretty sure Venkata could arrange for a private demo if you wanted to see it, so then that way you don't miss out, because I know you're down here doing all the.
Maybe tomorrow, because today is really filled up with all recordings. It will really a busy day, but yeah. That excites me to talk with you guys, with all the others, to have these kind of conversations and making people aware a bit of FOMO that they register for next year as well. What is the main key takeaway from all the sessions that you have done and will do on this conference that you want at least take away from your sessions, Anton?
That's a great question. I would say that first of all, just our own impression of what we're hearing. We're hearing customers are going cloud native, which is something that we really want to make sure cloud customers do, because it's simpler, it's more secure. So that's very important. And really, what we want everybody to take away is we are listening. This is why we're here. This is why engineers are here listening. We want to understand both how everybody is using the product so that we can actually engineer the solutions that fit end to end, and also what are the gaps in current products so we can go fix. So as Venkata mentioned, we're taking lots and lots of notes so that we can then go back and talk to the team. And it's really not just us; it's the whole team behind us that will take that feedback, and then this will actually help us make sure that we build the right products.
You did the session on Monday on securing devices with Intune and Intune Suite. is the how many, not how many attendees, but what is the participation of the attendees? Because I think it's the main sysadmin workplace event in Europe that we have organized here. So I think mainly we have sysadmins over here. The topics that we cover are interesting because people are participating, but how is the interaction with attendees?
Yeah, so in that session, I successfully was able to delegate a lot to Matt, so I'm going to do that as well right now.
Yeah. Oh, hey, great deflection. Fantastic. Yeah, I think, when we schedule that session every year, so that session is one that we do, I would say, every conference we go to, we do a securing devices session. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that our marketing team isn't fantastic, but there's other things that we want to talk about from a messaging perspective, maybe like Copilot, maybe some investments we're making in Suite, maybe some new features that we're shipping with Intune. So we always sort of get this, I wouldn't say pushback or friction, but there's always a question of like, do we really need to talk about securing in devices? Like, do we really need to talk about compliance again? Do we really need to talk about device configuration again? Like, we've talked about it every day for the last 10 years. And I always sort of say, yes, like we need to do it. And I think our session, I think there was probably 150, 170 admins in there, and it was very interactive in questions, because it's one of those things that if you're just coming into a sysadmin role or you're just starting on your journey with Intune, I think people sort of feel almost embarrassed to mention that, like, hey, I don't know exactly how all of this stuff works with compliance, or I don't know exactly how device configuration works. So it's always a great session to go through and help them understand, like, hey, this is how stuff works, this is what you can expect. And then Anton drove a very interactive session where people could ask questions, and it really helps to confirm people's understanding in real time. So we really love doing it.
Yeah, but probably I had a few security guys on the table as well, and they are complaining about the fact that every year we're talking about the same topics.
Yeah.
But that in the field, I think it's mainly necessary because organizations are moving slowly, maybe not too slowly, but slowly to secure their environment. And I think there are much enhancements that we could do from a security perspective, but probably also from a management perspective, that we have the right tools within the products, but we need that people are using that in a correct way. And maybe education is something that we need to do in a kind of good way.
Well, I think about it like a lot like, I'll use an analogy. So there's, when you drive your own vehicle, right? You have a certain knowledge about your car, right? When somebody in Formula One drives a Formula One car, they have a certain level of knowledge. The difference is somebody driving a Formula One vehicle has a whole team that supports wheels, tires, calibration, etc. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it really depends on, you can choose not to learn these foundational components if you're in Formula One, because you're really focused on a different thing inside the car driving, versus if you require a car to drive, 200 kilometers a day to go to and from home, right?
Yep.
So, I'm a big proponent of building this foundational level of knowledge for everybody, and I think we'll continue to do that at conferences, and I think it's just super important. And, security is always about the newest threat, the latest thing, like how to protect from the latest thing, and it's like, you can protect from those things, but if you're not doing the real basic things, nobody's going to need to use these advanced threat techniques and all this stuff to get you. They're just going to do the basic stuff. So let's continue to pound on the basic stuff for the community,
So on that, I think we can move forward the basic layer within the products that you are engineering. That's there, so we can use it. We need to do some education on our end, probably not on your end, but from a community perspective. So we need to take people with us, and if we do that, the future is bright, so to say.
Yeah, I agree.
So thanks for a sort of insights on the engineering part, on Intune Suite, on what we have done in the last year, but also on the nice demos that are coming up. So I look forward to that.
Very exciting. I can't wait for the afternoon.
Thank you for joining in this recording. Hopefully we see each other back next year.
Yeah.
Hey, Frans. Yeah.
I will invite you.
Okay. Well, that's a promise. We'll be here. Yeah.
Thanks for now. And if you're watching this video or listening to it, like and subscribe and see what's next, because next people are coming up already. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frans.
Talk to you later.
Thanks for that.